Juniper's unexpected visit had left Trinity reeling, her mind a whirlwind of emotions. As she prepared to face the day, a single question echoed in her mind. What would Reece say when he saw her? And more importantly, what would he do? Will Reece be furious with Trinity for breaking his orders? Will their newfound intimacy be shattered by his anger? And what secrets still lie hidden within Trinity, waiting to be unleashed?
Juniper drew a heart in the steamy bathroom mirror and smiled mischievously as she added R plus T inside of it. How are things going with Reece? Any better? You could say that. Trinity blushed. Somebody's got a secret, Juniper pressed. Spill, Trinity. Do you want to sit down on the sofa? Or are we going to have this conversation in my bathroom? Good call. Juniper marched out of the bathroom. Oh, can I plug in my phone? It's about to die. Of course, I'll be right there. Trinity hung up her towel and started to apply moisturizer when she remembered the shredded pajamas that she had haphazardly kicked under the bed. She hoped Juniper hadn't seen them. Juniper, wait. Oh my goddess! Juniper's eyes were as wide as dinner plates. She grabbed Trinity's hand and led her to the sofa. Tell me everything. And Trinity did, including every detail she could remember from the night before. By the time she was done, both of their faces were red. This was the kind of girl talk that Trinity had never had before, and she was enjoying it so much that she didn't notice her third visitor of the day. Both women looked up in horror. Is it him? Juniper whispered. You know I can hear you. Reece called from the other side of the door. Trinity leapt up and opened the door. Wolf senses. Please, don't let me interrupt. He held up a big bag of takeout. But I thought we could have dinner together. Well, look at the time. Juniper gathered her things and inched toward the door. I really have to get going. I'll see you soon, Trinity. Goodbye, Alpha. What did you bring me? Trinity deflected. Well, I gave Abigail the night off, so you would have no luck if you don't eat with me. I brought you takeout. You know, I could always go down to the kitchen and cook for myself. Trinity smiled, but Reese's face fell. Reece, you're adorable. Of course I will have dinner with you. Reece laid a full feast of comfort foods out on the table. There were burgers, fries, chicken wings, and all of the best sauces to pair with them. They ate the food together and maintained easy conversation, free from the tension that had marked their interactions before. Maybe I was wrong about him, Trinity thought to herself as Reece pushed the last of the fries toward her. Once they were finished eating, Trinity felt her nervousness creeping back in. She knew what he wanted. She wanted it too. She could see the heat steadily growing in his eyes. The honeyed gold darkened to amber, sending a shiver through her body. She knew that she was in for a repeat of last night. This time, she wanted to take the lead. She grabbed his hand and pulled him to her. His wolf was curled up comfortably with the feeling of her soft, supple body pressed against his own. But now was not the time. He had a flight to catch and a schedule to keep. Morning already? Trinity fluttered her eyes open and squeezed Reece closer to her. I have to get to the airport, Trinity. Reece laughed. I have a flight to catch. I still think you should have taken me with you. Trinity mumbled sleepily. She said it as if she was joking, but he knew that she meant it. A business trip isn't what you want. Reece ran his hand through Trinity's curls. Let's take a proper vacation soon. One where we can really get away from all of the trouble that has been following us. You don't want to sit around all day while I'm in meetings. Don't worry about it, Trinity yawned. I've got the start of the semester tomorrow, and we'd only be in LA for a couple of days. Once Reece was mostly dressed, he left his shirt unbuttoned for the sake of time. He returned to Trinity. I'll be back Wednesday morning at the latest. Hurry back. She smiled. but Reese could see in her eyes that she was feeling dejected. She looked away. I want to talk to you, Trinity. Her eyes shot up. About what we are to each other. Just as he began to calm himself enough to continue, he heard a yell from the hallway. Reese! It was Noah, and his voice held a biting edge of anger. We can talk when you get back. Trinity gave him a gentle kiss. Noah's getting impatient. But I would like to say something to you now. Reese pushed forward. Reese! Noah pounded on the door to Trinity's room. We're running late. He's not very happy with you. I'll miss you. Reese had just gotten the words out when the door to Trinity's room flew open, missing Reese by barely an inch. Reese, let's go. Noah growled. Trinity, I can't wait to talk to you when I get back. Reese looked at her. The blush that crept into her cheeks flowed down her neck and across her shoulders. The sight of her blushing skin made him want to trace the heat with his tongue, but he didn't have the time. I'll see you Wednesday. Be thinking of where you want to go on vacation. Bye, Trinity squeaked, too embarrassed to say more. Reese stomped out of the room, pulling the door shut behind him. This was not how he wanted to part with his little bunny. He was fuming as he led the way down the hall, and he could feel anger pouring off Noah in waves. The intensity of it was palpable. What's your problem? Reese finally asked him. You can't keep your hands to yourself, Noah snapped. Excuse me? Reese hadn't expected such a blunt response. Don't toy with her, Reese. Noah's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. She's too nice of a girl for you to be using her like this. Don't play with her heart. Noah, did you forget about the part where she is my mate? Reese's wolf growled. It took everything in him to calm him. No, I didn't forget. Noah kept his eyes straight ahead. Nor did I forget what you said to her, that she's nothing to you. She's my family, Reese. She's a sister to me. Your disrespectful treatment of her is a slap in the face of all of us. Noah, have you asked her how she feels? As much as Reese wanted to tell Noah how wrong he was, he knew the most effective way to get through to him was by going to the source herself, Trinity. I can see how upset she is, Reese. Noah's voice echoed through the car. She was upset because you barged in on us, and she was embarrassed. Reese shook his head. Listen, Noah, I've been working hard to fix my mistakes with her. We've talked about them a lot. I've explained myself to her, and I don't need to explain myself to you at all. Especially when you keep overstepping. Reese thought. He reminded himself again to have that conversation later. I'll believe it when I hear it from her, Noah snapped. Fine, ask her when we get back. Then Reese had a better idea. No, ask her now. Call her right now. Reese pulled out his phone. Damn it, Noah, I love her. I'm never going to hurt her again. What did you say? Noah's face was so full of shock, Reese worried that he wasn't paying attention to the road. Is it so hard to believe that I love her? Reese lowered his voice sheepishly. Yeah, actually. Noah had no faith in him at all. That hurt. He was Reese's oldest, most trusted friend. Well, I do. Reese took a deep breath. And I was about to finally tell her when you barged into the room. Wait. Noah held up his hand. She doesn't know you love her? I haven't told her yet, no. Reese told him honestly. You're such an asshat. Reese and Noah both broke into laughter at his ridiculous insult. Noah became serious again. You better treat her right. I'll treat her like a queen. Reese smiled happily as he thought of the future he had to look forward to with his sexy little bunny. That's what she is. You better not forget that. Noah warned him one last time. Ever. Reese had hoped that their laughter would ease the tension between them, but the rest of their ride was no better than the rest of their interactions over the last couple of months, with hostility just beneath the surface. But Reese knew two things. One, he couldn't afford to mess things up with Trinity. And two, he was going to have to make it clear that he was the alpha, and soon. Trinity winced. She really tried to focus on her textbooks, but her mate mark kept throbbing. It was this consistent, dull ache. She rose from her seat in the living room to check it in a nearby mirror. The pack crest had darkened on her pale skin. The cloudy, unfinished area that surrounded her mark was lighter than usual, too. It's changing, she whispered to herself. It didn't make any sense. What was different now than 3 months ago? I can think of one thing, she thought with a slight flush to her cheeks. It wasn't like Reese unlocked something within her, like he was the key and she was a whole new person now. Focus, Trinity, she mumbled. She turned back to the makeshift study spot in the living room. She needed to finish checking all of her textbooks. It was the first day of her new semester and the first time someone else had picked up her books for her. All right, here's 2 for violence in society, 1 for crime theory, and... Trinity's voice trailed. 2 of the books in her stack were wrong. Trini groaned. What am I gonna do now? Trini spun at the new sound. She spotted 2 men at the door to her room. Elder Frederick, Reese's great-uncle, was there, but Trinity had never seen the man beside him before. Frederick wasn't her favorite person, but he wouldn't bring someone untrustworthy into the Alpha House. Is something wrong, Luna? Frederick asked with concern. He crossed into the room with a stranger on his tail. Nothing serious, just something I need and can't get right now, she told him. That won't do, the stranger said. A girl like you shouldn't want for anything. Trinity's brows furrowed. His voice sounded familiar. When would she have heard it? I'm sorry, but do I know you? She asked. Elder Frederick chuckled and motioned to the stranger. You 2 haven't met yet. Let me do the honors. This is Caleb, Reese's cousin, and... His beta, Trinity finished. Caleb's jaw clenched. Sorry, is it rude to interrupt an elder? Caleb recovered quickly. He flashed a smile at her. Not when you're family. I'm honored to meet you, Trinity. She grinned. It was nice to have someone actually use her name. So often people in the pack solely referred to her as Luna. It was a sign of respect, but Caleb bypassed that. Nice to meet you officially. I'm sure we've crossed paths before, but Reese said you've been pretty busy these last few months. Caleb nodded. Not as busy as you. You've taken up a daycare, and you're still in school. I'll have to ask him how he finds time to see you. It's not my schedule that's the problem, Trinity thought. She forced a polite smile. You'll have to wait to ask. He's gone for a few days. Frederick frowned. I must have had my days mixed up. I thought we'd catch him before he left. Don't hold it against me. This old dog's just as sharp as always. Have a good night then, Luna. Frederick left while Trinity awkwardly waited for Caleb to do the same. Caleb sighed. Such a shame. I wanted to tell Reese what I found in person. Trinity perked up. Caleb had been one of the wolves searching for leads on her attackers. Anything good? She asked him. I don't want to get your hopes up, but it's promising, Caleb said. Glad to hear it. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to make a few more phone calls. The twins couldn't ignore her forever. What is it you're missing? Caleb asked. It must be important if you're calling about it. I'm just missing a couple books for my college courses. They start today, and I don't want to fall too far behind in the first week. You fought so hard to be here for them, too, Caleb said. He shook his head. You can't lose track now. Would you like me to get them for you? All right, just this once. My guards would normally do something like this, but it's an off night for them. Trinity led Caleb over to the table to show him her textbooks. She picked up the 2 that were wrong. Caleb eyed the book for the wrong course. How about you come with me? Caleb asked. Trinity felt the ache of her mate mark again. I don't know. Reece would be angry if I left right now, with everything going on. Caleb laughed. Reece vetted me too. If you're not safe with the second strongest wolf in the pack, his own beta, then who can you be safe with? If we do this, it's just to the campus store and back, she said. Caleb bowed. Of course, Luna. I won't even stop for gas. Okay, just let me change first. Trinity rushed out of the living room. She tried to quell the rolling in her stomach, the itch beneath her skin. It's probably just anxiety over keeping something from Reece. She could text him once she got back. Then he'd have no reason to freak out. It was just a simple trip to the store. What could possibly go wrong?
Although she was suspicious about him suddenly visiting her when Reece was not around, she trusted him, as he was a trusted member of the pack. Will Trinity be safe with Caleb, or is there another attack planned on her? Will Reece fire Caleb for visiting his Luna uninvited?
Hey, I am Trinity. Want to know what happens next? Then click the link in the description below and download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Chosen by Fate, Rejected by the Alpha,